Always rain on me. It's 11 minutes past 7, BBC Essex. As I mentioned earlier, this week a leading psychiatrist told the BBC that the mental health service in England is in crisis and is unsafe. Dr Martin Bagley's comments came as an investigation by BBC News revealed that more than 1,500 beds have closed to mental health patients in recent years. And Michael Buchanan has more for BBC Essex.
England's mental health service is under severe strain. Staff say patients are being needlessly sectioned or sent hundreds of miles for care because beds are being closed and demand for help is rising. Martin Bagley says the whole system is in crisis and unsafe. The Care Minister Norman Lamb said that current levels of access to mental health treatment were unacceptable.
Well, Matt King is from the charity Trust Links, based in Essex, who work with people with mental health problems and their carers. And I'm pleased to say he's with me this morning here on Saturday Breakfast. Morning, Matt.
Morning, Peter.
Can you just explain and remind us what Trust Links is and what it does?
Yes, we have two community gardens, one in Westcliff and one in Shoebury Nest, called Growing Together. And these projects support people with mental health problems through gardening, through learning skills in horticulture and other positive activities, and then by doing that aids their recovery and helps them progress on to better lives, really, through different employment opportunities. We also have a carers project called Breakthrough, and we support carers of people with mental health problems.
Do you find that you have success stories? I mean, it is successful, yeah?
We have amazing success stories. In the last few weeks, somebody's moved on to get a job through their gardening skills that they've learnt with us. People get the support. They also meet other people. They meet friends, and that peer support's really important with mental health. Meeting other people and knowing that they're not alone, they're not going through things entirely on their own, is really important.
So you're doing your bit. So you know, and it is very positive. I know, because as you know, I've been along to see you. But what provisions are there in the county for those with mental health issues?
One of the main things that we see is that there's a community mental health teams that work with people with severe and enduring mental health needs. There is also hospitals. So in our area, we've got an assessment unit in Basildon, and we've also got the Rochford Hospital, which provides specialist support for people that are critically ill. So in recent weeks, we've had one of our members, service users, referred into Rochford, and she actually got some good support there. And then we had somebody in the last week who was sectioned and went across to Basildon to be assessed in their unit.
What sort of stories do you hear from people, you know, the people that you help? Are they at crisis point in the health service?
To be honest, Peter, it's very mixed. Some of them find that they get a lot of support, a lot of very good support. The service user that went into Rochford Hospital recently found that fantastic. She really enjoyed having that really safe environment where she is nurtured. There are people there that really can understand her and work with her. I'd say the people in the community mental health team, it is a mixed picture. Some of them do get the support, get a care coordinator and get quite a lot of input. Others really struggle. Others get discharged very quickly, and then when they're discharged they get put into outpatients, and then they don't get access to a psychiatrist or to a care coordinator very often. And then when they're discharged, they kind of have to go through this sort of revolving door, and then when they get ill again, because obviously mental health fluctuates, sometimes they're well, sometimes people get ill, and that's just the nature of the condition. So then they have to reapply to get back into the system, which is very challenging. And then when they get into crisis and they're not in the system, they have to go into A&E. And A&E in Southend Hospital is very busy. You know, there's long waiting times, and it's not a nice place if you're feeling well mentally, is it? And so then if you're feeling unwell mentally, to have to go to A&E and face all of those other people and all those other problems just exacerbates the crisis.
Yeah, because physical problems are always seen to be more tangible and more serious than mental problems, aren't they, for some reason?
Definitely. I've worked in Trust Links for 2.5 years now, and coming into that from having worked in other sort of social and healthcare projects, I do feel that mental health is a Cinderella service. I feel that it's just not given the weight and the gravitas and the resources that it's needed, and so organisations like us at Trust Links can do a huge amount of preventative work and early intervention work. If we had more resources, we could do that much more.
So you could do with more resources, fine, and somehow, presumably, you have to raise money yourself.
We do. We don't get any money from the health service at all.
So you're kind of plugging a gap? Is that how you see yourselves? That maybe the government should be supplying?
I feel that it's particularly helpful that it's charities like us doing the type of work we do, because we have a lot of connections and links to other organisations we work closely with, private sector as well as other community groups. So I think what we do, we can only do because we're a charity. If we were the NHS, I think that would put a lot of our service users off coming in, to be honest. But obviously, the more funding we get from different sources, the more support we can give to people. So at the moment, we're plugging the gaps through funding, through grant-making trusts, through partnerships with the private sector, through contracts with the Job Centre and other people. But obviously, if we had some health money, then we could absolutely stem some of that flow into the statutory community mental health services and also into the hospitals.
In thinking about it, how do you put pressure on local authorities or the government to plough money into mental health resources? How can you do that and persuade them not to cut them?
Our experience with Southend Borough Council has actually been very good. We've got a small contract with them, and I feel that Southend Borough Council is sufficiently committed, but I think that the challenge is with the health services and the changes in health commissioning. You might have come across the clinical commissioning groups that replaced the PCTs.
Yes, I have, yes.
And that's just huge. In my experience, it's caused a huge amount of turbulence and change, and people just don't know where the money is and what's happening with the money. So then to come up with a strategy to really support mental health and prioritise that with all these other kind of political changes going on just makes it really, really difficult.
OK, Matt, thank you very much indeed. That's Matt King, who's from the charity Trust Links, based in South East Essex. It's 18 minutes past 7. It is BBC Essex.